Hello everyone, and welcome to Soul GPS, where we learn to take our life back in our hands after narcissistic abuse. And I want to welcome you today in the beautiful countryside of Slovenia. I want to shoot as many videos in nature as I can. So the only thing is it's really windy today, so I had to find this little nook here so that it doesn't disturb our audio. Hopefully it won't be too bad. I really wanted to thank you guys again so much for all your comments, for watching my channel, and for subscribing. It's amazing. I did not expect that I'm gonna get such a positive response in such a short period of time. So thank you, and most importantly, I am just so humbled and grateful that my work is helping you guys. That just makes my day. I have not been posting in the last 2 days because we had a big storm here, and it was thunders and lightning, and it cut off my Wi-Fi, so I've been able to use my neighbors. So it's going to take me a while to get through all of your comments. I would like to try to answer as many of them as I can. If I don't, I apologize, but no, one thing is that I read all of them. And some of your questions that you guys are leaving, I'm making a spreadsheet and keeping track of them. So hopefully I will get to answering them just as soon as I'm able. If you do need a faster response from me, I'm doing email support right now. My information is in the comment below, so that usually takes me a day, sometimes two, if I don't have access to internet. Obviously it makes things really a bit more difficult. So if at times, because I'm right now traveling around Europe, so if there are times where you don't hear from me right away, just know it's usually because I just don't have access to the internet, because normally I am on almost all the time. So when yesterday my Wi-Fi cut off, I actually found myself in a kind of a strange predicament, because I did not have, you know, a lot of creative work to do. I'm sorry about the noise. I hope it's not, I hope you can't hear it. There are like tractors here and people farming. So so I found myself actually, you know, it was raining and I did not have internet. So I was actually ruminating a little bit about my past. It all just kind of surfaced, and so I felt different emotions come up, and these emotions were not necessarily very pleasurable. So I was thinking about all of you and what you must be going through, and I have had some distance from it already. One is because you know, there's been a time, but the other thing is space. You know, I have moved away from the source of most of my abuse, so it's really helped to remove myself from the environment. It really helped, but I was feeling a lot of it, quite a bit of it yesterday. So I just wanted to say that there are two things that I caught that really helped me, you know, process a lot of these emotions that were surfacing. The first thing was breathing. So I would feel grief or fear or just disappointment. There's a lot of disappointment that I've been processing with people, you know, people who can't love, people who just been, you know, just disrespectful and really cunning in their games and in their approaches. And so I've been breathing and just holding it and asking, like, what is the message? Like, what else is there that I haven't yet processed? And that just being with it, you know, without necessarily trying to fix it, has been really helpful. And the other thing was journaling, just writing down things, just purging, putting it on paper. So yet another testimony to externalizing and getting things out of our system, and how really significant and helpful that is. So I wanted to put it out there for you. And also I started to read In Sheep's Clothing by Dr. George Simon, and it's an amazing book, amazing resource, and a lot of insights. I'm jotting down a lot of notes as I'm reading it, and I'm going to be bringing that into my future videos. So today, for our topic, what I'm going to do is actually draw from the work of Sandra L. Brown. She wrote a phenomenal book called Women Who Love Psychopaths. I'm wondering if I should pause this video because of all this noise. Oh, I think it's just about moving away. No, it's not. Alright, so I went ahead and moved us to a different location where there's hopefully a little bit less noise. I'm actually standing on a hill overlooking the village, but I'm right in front of a church. So there might be bells. It has a tendency to ring bells every like quarter of an hour. So if it starts to bang, I'm gonna pause again and keep recording. So I apologize in advance. But I just really wanted to bring you the nature today. It's because it's just so beautiful here. So okay, so today I wanted to talk to you about a very important topic where I distilled through my research the 8 reasons most likely that have caused you to have fallen into the narcissistic trap from the start. So here they are. Reason number one, you have high pain threshold. What does this mean? It means that over the years, over the course of your life, you have had a steady influx of pain, steady influx of abuse, of mistreatment, of disrespect that have caused you to kind of go along with it. You know, you didn't want to be a bother, you didn't want to make a fuss, you just thought that this is how life was. Right? So you accepted the beatings, you accepted the lashes with a smile on your face because you wanted to make sure that everybody was happy, that that you pleased people, and so on. Also, it may have been not even necessarily that. It may have been just the fact that you're able to take a lot. You have really high level of resilience, or you have developed this resilience over the years through mistreatment and abuse. This can manifest at work, for instance, that you just can't say no, and a boss puts more and more work on your plate for you to deal with, and you just gladly accept it. It might be fear of rejection underneath it. There may be many reasons, but the core manifestation of that is basically that you have high pain threshold that the narcissist or psychopath or other abusive personality took advantage of. So they kept on laying it and laying it and laying it. And usually you can also, looking back, see how the abuse has escalated over time. So maybe it started with a little bit of a negative comment, then it became a lot of negative comments, then it became negative comments in front of other people, right? Like denigrating you in front of others, making fun of you behind your back and so on. Well, behind your back while you were still kind of there, right? You know, doing these sorts of things. Then it was just yelling and screaming and telling you all out that you were a piece of shit and you're worthless, right? Saying it to your face. Then it could have turned into, you know, sexual abuse, triangulation, and then escalated into physical abuse, you know, them throwing stuff against the wall, maybe hitting the wall while you're watching, you know, while your kids were there, and then maybe hitting you. So it has a progression. So, but you've been able to like kind of go along with it. Like this was sort of your, I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like, you know, when Jesus walked with his cross, it's like your path towards crucifixion, is you just took it and then you took it. It's kind of funny that I'm standing in front of a church saying this, but you get my point. So high pain threshold. It may seem like it's something that is noble, but not in this situation. Not in this situation when you're getting abused. So you need to be able to recognize where it's okay to take some pain, such as, for instance, when you're climbing a mountain towards success, when you're processing negative emotions, right? You want to sit with it. You can't stand it. Yes, you can stand it. You can stand it until it passes, but you're working towards a goal that's for you, right? Because as we say, no pain, no gain. But in this situation, it is absolutely the reverse. Actually, I'm going to make a video of how a lot of truths and memes and wisdoms and sayings and idioms, such as, you know, turn the other cheek or treat others the way you would like to be treated, how when they're put inside of this context of abuse, they actually work upside down. So, note to self. Number 2. Your tendency to see people as a reflection of you. So you projecting your own values, your own high values onto other people, and that made them fly under your radar. And because they're so cunning and manipulative, and they have trained over time how to behave in a way that is appeasing other people and that is appealing to normal people in order to take advantage of them during their reconnaissance period, right? Because they need to first test, like, what can you offer them, and once they figure out how they can what they can suck out of you, right, how they can use you for their own advantage, they're going to be just, oh, here comes the bell. Hopefully it's just a couple. Awesome. All right, we scored. So what they're going to do is, you know, once they figure out a way, like what you need from them, what they can take from you, I'm sorry, and what you need from them, they're going to start giving you first, like, what you need from them, right? And they're going to figure out, like, what are your vulnerabilities, what are your needs, and then bring them on a silver platter for you. And you're going to be thinking, like, oh my God, what an amazing person this is, right? All the while they're counting score and they're thinking, okay, I've done all these things for them, now it's time for them to reciprocate. And if you are you know, a person with conscience, if you're a person who's an empath, if you're a person who's fair, you are subconsciously also keeping count and keeping score, and you're thinking, wow, they've been so nice for me, I'm gonna now do something nice for them. And that's where it starts. That's how you enter the door, or how you open the door for them to enter. So while they did that, right, while they were showing you their most beautiful colors, most of them were of course fake, what happened is that that was a form of a game, and you didn't know you were in the game. So it was very, very unfair, very unfair. Number 3, I'm sorry to say this, and this applies to me too, so don't take it the wrong way, but it was your naivete or your innocence. You did not think that there can be people that are so evil out there, right? Like, until recently, even when I looked at the politicians, when I looked at mass murderers, I would always think, like, in the back of my mind, oh, these people were probably so abused, you know, poor people, they're probably suffering inside. No, and actually the book that I'm reading right now by George Simon is really opening my eyes even more to the fact, you know, it's bursting more myths and bubbles in my own perception that deal with this issue. Some people are just born with an aggression gene, right? Or they're just, that's their personality. And as their character shapes, they do not put any restraint on themselves. Like, normal person that has any kind of a moral inclination, they know that when they're pushing too hard, they know, you know, when they're acting inappropriately. These guys don't know. Well, it's not that they don't know it, but they don't have the restraint, they don't have the brakes, so they just barge on, and they're in some situations, in some, say, positions, like in the corporations and so on, this kind of behavior is even rewarded. So not only are they naturally like that, but now, like, their bosses say, yeah, good going, and they're gonna say, oh, let's crush the competition, you know, let's fuck them up, let's do this and that, and they're like, yeah, let's do that, right? And they can make great sales. Those people can make, you know, really amazing aggressive deals, and they get millions for that, right? Or, you know, some form of bonuses, some form of acknowledgement. So it drives them forward even more. And remember, it's a big spectrum of humans that range from, you know, just slightly kind of narcissistic, and in some ways a little bit of narcissism is healthy. Like, we need a little bit of narcissism, and it's kind of the narcissism that's healthy is like thinking, like, well, why shouldn't I be successful, or why shouldn't I look beautiful tonight, right? Because we often are so afraid of shining our light. I remember I used to be like that. I used to be so afraid of my own success, because whenever I would earn an award, or, you know, speak, like in school, I would do a lot of, like, speeches and stuff. I was really good academically, but I would always feel really bad because I'm thinking, well, nobody else got this award, so I'm making other people feel bad, right? So that was really imbalanced and fucked up. I'm so glad I'm no longer doing this. But some of you may. So if you do, catch yourself and don't do that. You need to learn how to make your light shine and bring forth your gifts, because the world needs your gifts. I need your gifts. you know. Bring it on, bring it on. So yeah, so our naivete really got us into a lot of mess because we thought that people are just nice, but unfortunately a lot of people are not nice, and they don't want to be nice, and they have no intention of being nice. You know, they just want what they want when they want it, and they will not anyone or anything stop them. So that's my big bubble burst, and yeah, I'm gonna be making more videos about that. All right, next thing. Oh, and of course they were master manipulators. They left us drained and confused. We tried to change them, right, into the good person that we knew that they could be. And that's another thing, that's that hook. We're still number 3, but that's the hook, right? When they can show you that they can show you that they can be really nice. And we're like, well, they can be so nice, so like, why can't they continue being nice? Why, like, we work over time to do anything and everything we can, of course thinking now that it's our fault, to recreate the circumstance from the beginning. All the while, you know, they're just excited because now you're running in circles wanting to bring it back, but you're never gonna bring it back because that's not the game they're playing. But you think that there is no game, you think that there's just a little hiccup that can be fixed, but unfortunately it cannot. All right, moving on to number 4, uneven stakes. So you didn't know you were in the game. You did not know that there were rules in place, right? And this was a dirty game, very dirty game, where you are up against a really cunning opponent who has been learning, studying all of these techniques on how to manipulate other people since they were very young. Whereas you haven't done any of that. You're coming in with an open heart, innocence, openness, love, desire to share intimately your deepest parts of yourself, desire to spiritually connect, desire to honestly talk, and they do none of that. So see how uneven this game is. So this was not your fault. It's a lot like in the movie Matrix, right? Like once you realize what you've been dealing with, it's like swallowing the red pill. And it's really shocking. It's quite shocking. And you know, they have advanced levels of deception. One of the things that they do is they can lie while looking you straight in the eyes, right? So you don't even, like, because normally when people lie, they would blink a lot, they look around, they act like you can sense something sometimes from their just by watching their body language. But in this case, there's no way, because they have perfected this to a T. The only thing that you can rely upon in those situations is you have that little bit of an uneasy feeling deep inside somewhere, whether it's in your tummy or in your chest, you know, that soul GPS that I talk about in my videos. So that's your intuition knocking on your door and saying, hey, get on guard, you know, get on alert, because something's off here. So you have to be able to listen to that next time you encounter new people in your life, right? Remember, they're just super insidious, and they're very good at what they do. Very good at what they do. Oh, it's really hot in here. Whew, the sun is like beaming on my back. It's nice though after a couple of days of rain. All right, number 5, your best traits were used against you. I'm going to give you a list of traits here. I have nine traits, common traits that get exploited. So maybe you can relate to some of them, maybe not all of them, maybe all of them. So number 1 is empathy. Number 2 is your desire to explore. You're open-minded. Openness is actually number 3. Number 4, positive sociability. So you're open to people. You have positive interactions, and so you expect most people to be really nice to you. Next one is relationship investment. This is a really big one. This is a big one that really gets us entrapped. So, which keeps us stuck in the relationship too, because oftentimes we feel like we have spent so much time already. We have invested ourselves so deeply. We don't want to give up, right? We don't want to abandon it. And also, this ties in with how easily does one respond to pleasurable rewards. So this is where the narcissist or manipulator, or another problematic personality, what they do is they use this to dose you with a little bit of their affection, a little bit of, you know, something that they know you like, in order to keep you hooked. So it causes this programming, and a bit of a trend. It's a bit of a trance induction too. I made a video about trance induction. I'm going to make more. This is such a fascinating subject. A lot of people have left comments and great questions in that one, so I definitely want to go deeper. But you know, the fact that you are responding to the little bits that they give you positively, it just gives them more ideas as to what they can do for you in order to keep you hooked. So they give you a lot of pain. They hurt you sometimes for days. You feel like you're just walking backwards. You feel like you just, like, everything is upside down. And then they do that one little nice thing and suddenly everything is okay, right? For 2 minutes. All right, next one is sentimentality. And this is a big one, because here's the thing. Here's another thing that they do that also ties in with trance induction is, for instance, they send you music. Right? Or there's a song that you're sitting in a bar and having, you know, enjoying their company, and you're having this deep connection, and there's a song that plays and you're like, oh, I like this song, right? And next time they will take you on a ride and they're gonna play that song, and then before you know it, it's your song, right? So now, as you are, like, you've been through the nightmare and you're on the other side of it and you're processing all your pain, and you hear that song and you just squirm inside. It just feels so painful. Sometimes it can be more, you know, than one song. It can be whole albums. Some people, like, are so triggered afterwards that they just can't listen to certain things. I know it's happened to me. So it's our sentimentality. Like, we've tied these emotions, these incredibly positive emotions we've had with these people, to objects, to music, to pictures, to forms of art, to movies, to movie characters. Like, one of the things that my psycho did is, which was kind of crazy, and I feel like, to me it was super childish, but I went along with it because I thought, okay, he's being cute, right? Like, he would play fairy tales, like, what was it? Sinbad? No, was it Sinbad? Anyway, like, or Tarzan, or Iron Man, the movie, and he would, like, say, oh, you're this character and I'm this character, and it's like, it's really weird. And then, you know, later on, whenever I would hear a song or see a poster of it or just hear it mentioned, I'd be like, you know, just, it was really difficult to digest for a while. Okay, trait number 7 is attachment proneness. Well, this one doesn't really even need an explanation, right? We are just people who have an easy ability to attach with others. You know, we have that open heart, we have that desire, we have that loving kindness within us that just naturally wants to, like, we see an amazing value in, you know, what happens when you bring two souls together and the exchange that can happen. And it's so true. It is so amazing. Like, I believe that one of the reasons why we've been put on this planet here in this big community of souls is so we can have that experience. And you can have that experience, and you will have that experience. You just need to have it with the person that is going to really be there for you and who's going to deserve to be in the company of your incredible presence, right? Not some schmuck who's going to, or some bitch, you know, who's going to just be there and pretend like they're really there for you, only to, like, kick you where you are, like, at your most vulnerable. I mean, that's insidious. That's bullshit, you know. Fuck them. You don't need that. You really don't need that. So but we do, you just recognize within yourself that you do have that tendency. You know, it's like a woman meets a man, and she, like, before they even wrap up the evening, she's already, like, comparing his last name next to her first name, right? Or, like, getting married and having kids. You're like, all that stuff, it just happens automatically. Like, this is something that is hardwired to us, so don't feel bad if this is something that you do. Same for men, of course, although I don't know, I would be curious to know whether men go through the same process, you know, that we do. But just know that it's natural. Like, when it comes, don't be like, oh my god, you know, like, I'm doing this again, I'm stupid. This, don't beat yourself up of it. It is hardwired into our genes. But just recognize and see, oh, there it is, I'm doing it again, right? I'm rushing, I'm doing it too quickly. So slow things down. Slow things down. Realize you can get attached easily, and know that that's your vulnerability. You need to take your time. You need to take a few months before you really can decide whether this person is worthy of walking inside your temple, right? You need to see that. Some people might take even longer, but I think, like, sometimes they say, like, it took me 10 years to realize I've been married to a bitch, you know. It took me 10 years to realize I've been living with a manipulator. I don't think it's going to take you that long next time because of everything you're learning and the things you can spot. So we need to become almost as cunning as the narcissist, not in a way of manipulating them, but in a way of sort of testing them. You know, again, not to take it to an extreme, but you get my idea that if you're needing something, if you're sick, for instance, a lot of manipulative people, they don't want to have anything to do with you when you're needy, right? When you need something. I remember my husband, when I got a flu once, I wanted to go and spend the night at a hotel. You know, it's like, really, is it that bad? He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave you here. I'm like, you're gonna leave me here alone all night with a fever, because you're so afraid of my germs. Okay, you know, that's what they say in sickness and in health, right? So that's one way to really see who you're dealing with. All right, next one. This might seem counterintuitive, but it is very interesting. It's competitiveness, and as we go a little deeper, you'll see why this is a trait of ours. There goes the bell. All right, it's 5:44 here, so 3 rings. Okay, so competitiveness. What keeps us stuck, where competitiveness gets us in trouble, is that we too want to win. We want to win at this relationship, and it's not that we want to win with a narcissist, but we want to win by making it work, right? We want to win by making it work. So, and that also makes us take a lot of pressure, right? Because, you know, when you're competing with something or someone, there's always obstacles. So you're taking these obstacles, which are really red flags and signs that you should get out. You're taking these as, okay, I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. So keep trying better. And you see how that only leads to an escalation of abuse. So be very wary of that. If you have that in you, that's why a lot of, they say, like, you know, like, how could I have gotten into this terrible relationship? Like, am I that stupid? Truth is, no, you're the opposite. You're actually really smart, really sharp person, but it's that your best qualities have been used against you. And also know this, is that narcissists and psychopaths, they have such high view of themselves that they don't pick up just any person. Right? They want to be with somebody who's quality, somebody who can up-level their status, somebody who is really intelligent, somebody who can take a lot of pain, somebody who's going to fight for the relationship. So you have amazing qualities about you. You were just with the wrong person, disordered person. Remember, everything in their world is upside down to ours. Okay, and the next one is concern for others' high regard. Also needs no explanation, really, but you know, you really value your reputation, and you like to be liked. You like to be regarded well for who you are, and that can be used against you because you're going to be very nice. You're going to be overly nice towards the narcissist. You know, you're going to try your best. You're going to put your best foot forward always, and unfortunately, that's going to get you into trouble. All right, so these are our nine best traits that have been used against you. So you were first admired, then you were exploited, and then you were demeaned. That was the path. You were likely smart, gregarious, curious, and extroverted. So you had no issue really dealing with this kind of talking with that person, because they're usually very bold, very forthcoming. Also, you were likely very accomplished, organized, all of which were very useful to the narcissist. Okay, number 6. You were free-spirited, and you had an easygoing attitude, and they were both used against you. So you were probably okay with their disorderliness, with the chaos that they have created. Even though you're not that way, you probably like to have things neat and organized around, but because you were like, oh, it's okay, I'll go with the flow, you know, I'm easygoing this way, you're able to put up with it, and they took advantage of it. Also, this made you forgiving very easily, right? And when they were late, you were okay with that. You said, okay, it's fine, I'm gonna be okay. So you were the ultimate quote-unquote cool girl or the cool guy. So they kept on, you know, pushing your boundaries, disrespecting you, and overstepping your integrity in in order, but then you were like, it's fine, you know, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna be like all the others, you know, when they were always having an issue with a narcissist, and they were not, you didn't know they are narcissists by then, but it's like, you know, because they've told you all these stories, how all these other women have just been like always so demanding, and all these other guys, you know, they were always like, they didn't understand, and they were always putting so much pressure on those women, right? And now, so you want to be like the nice guy, or you want to be the cool girl, so you're not gonna fuss. It's a big red flag. Okay, here's another one where it's our responsibility here. I mean, our turn to take some responsibility, and it's not a bad thing, but again, it can get us into trouble, and that is that part of us really enjoy the intensity. That is because we're likely, most of us are people who are relatively confident, you know, we are, we can put up with a lot. We're somewhat daring. Again, we're intelligent. But so when then these people came in, and life can be sometimes dull for us because we're looking for new experiences, you know, we're open to living a life in a way that maybe is a little bit unconventional. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but for a lot of us, I know that was the case for me. So before I got utterly exhausted, I really enjoyed the intensity. I really enjoyed when he took me on those rides, when he took me to all these places, you know, and it was just all like, all of my chemistry, my body chemistry was just like whipped up into this storm, and I was like, wow, I was like high from it. So I really liked it, because life can be dull sometimes. And you know, one of the things that can also create this is when we don't have a deep sense of purpose or passion that we work towards every day, it's much easier for them to sway us. So narcissists, they tend to be very impulsive and excitement provoking, and it's a really exciting trait for us. It's very attractive, you know, whereas for healthy people, for people who have boundaries, for people who have a very well defined life missions and boundaries, to them these people might come off as kind of dangerous, you know. They may come off as overpowering, and they'll be like, oh, you know, this person's a little too intense. But to us, it's like, awesome, you know, yay, I met a partner in crime, so to speak. So we are looking for that excitement, that exciting, edgy partner. So we need to realize that that's something maybe that really got us into this also, right? And sometimes because we are ourselves, we have a certain degree of power. We're looking for somebody who's even more powerful, you know, who's even more edgy. So yeah, but unfortunately what that also means is that oftentimes they get entangled with other partners. They may live double lives that they're hiding, you know, they're creating all this storm and all of this excitement to kind of make you look over here, all the while over there they're living a double life and they're hiding a lot from you. So, you know, very important to keep this in mind. You know, and they oftentimes talk, they talk a lot, again, to like get you wrapped up in their story, right? And so they whip up and then weave these bizarre stories, you know, to put soap in your eyes, basically. And oftentimes a lot of those stories are about how victimized they are, and that gives them a lot of mileage, because that is where your empathy, your sense of compassion and feeling for them really rises to the surface, you know. And so they tell you like how much they've been abused, or how their partner mistreated them, you know, and took their kids, and they're just now so lonely and nobody really understands them, and they have lost all these jobs and this and that, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad for you. And they're like, yes, deep inside, right? All right, number 8 is you sought protection and security in another. That's a big one. I know that's a big one for women, for us, you know. And what's really odd is that when we watch the narcissist, maybe this doesn't apply to you, but I know it's such a sneaky, interesting phenomenon, is when we watch them having disregard for society, break laws sometimes, you know, do things that were kind of naughty. We felt, but because they were with us, we felt a sense of protection. So they're kind of like breaking the rules and putting us at risk, all the while we feel protected because they're playing on our side. It's kind of like this political situation. I know I weave a lot of politics into my videos because I see like this is just a scaled up version of what happens in relationships. And that is, you know, say we wage war on another country, but because we come off as stronger, we are this nuclear power, you know, we have all these weapons, even though we may feel like this is wrong, but at least we're on the right side, meaning that, you know, we're fighting sort of on the side of the giant versus being on the other side of the weakling who's getting their ass kicked. So again, just something to be aware of. And, you know, Pete Walker, in his book, CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, great book I'm reading, he says this. He says that when we were in a healthy home, what the mother's role is to infuse within their child a sense of self-compassion through their love. So they prepare us to always have sense of self-compassion, whereas the father's gift is a sense of self-protection. If we don't have that, then we're always looking for that in another. We're looking for the guy or the woman to provide us with the love that we didn't have from our mother. And so I oftentimes, you know, men who have been neglected as children seek out the motherly mother, who then, you know, does the 180 on them. And for women who haven't had really a father figure in their life, they're seeking that dominant, strong man in order to, you know, feel safe and feel protected. So again, it might not apply to everyone, but maybe some of it will. So now begins the work of doing it yourself. You know, you're going to learn to give yourself self-compassion through practicing self-care and self-protection by setting boundaries. All right, and then finally, number 9, I just added this one yesterday when I was laying in bed with my journal and just looking at the rain, and I thought, you know, the other thing that really got me in deep shit with so many people is I just hated disappointing them. I hated disappointing people. I hated disappointing my mom. I hated disappointing my sister. I hated disappointing my boyfriends, my girlfriends, my husband, right? So I kept on always trying harder and harder and harder. And it was never enough, right? It's never enough with those people. But there's always silver lining here, right? And here's the silver lining. All of those traits, all of those wonderful qualities that you have, now that you cut yourself off from this toxicity, they are going to launch you into an incredibly successful life. Because if you listen to the likes of Tony Robbins, Brendon Burchard, you know, all of these high performance coaches and inspiring speakers, or like Joe Dispenza is another one. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, right? And this is kind of the new wave of self-actualization and self-development that is really hot. And I would like also urge you to maybe go there and look into that, because that might just inspire you to give you that forward momentum that you'll need in order to leave the past behind. And all they're talking about all the time is that these qualities that have got you into trouble with the narcissist that I have just went through, they're the ones you need in order to connect with other people, in order to be successful, you need that organization, you need compassion, you need empathy, right? I'm just going to scan through them again. You need to be able to handle intensity and pressure. You need to be free-spirited and open to new opportunities, right? You need to have a form of innocence, not naivete, but be innocent, right? Be open to the love coming from other people. Have a high pain threshold in a sense that if things get tough, you can weather the storm and go forward. So notice that all of these things have another side. There's a different side of the coin. So once you focus yourself on the future and on the things that really matter to you, that whole situation, your whole past can be reframed into a life full of gifts, into, you know, a life of just dreams coming true. And this can happen within a relatively short period of time. Again, as I always say in videos, depending to the degree that you work on yourself, to the degree that you really want it, that's going to give you those wings and that power, the wind in your sails to move you forward. So remember, those people, they manipulate because they want to induce self-doubt in you. They will gaslight, they will lie, they will minimize you, they will shift the blame onto you. you know, and exposure to this disorder on an ongoing basis is going to rub off of you. So if you're feeling a little crazy, if you're feeling a little insane right now, that's normal. It's going to pass. I promise you that. But it is extremely dangerous to be in the vicinity of those people for your sanity. So get away as far as you can. Set those boundaries. If you can't get away, if you have to interact with that person, do what they say, gray rock, where sure, you're going to be there in person, but emotionally you're shut off to those people. You're going to give them nothing. You're not going to tell them anything exciting that's going on in your life, because they're going to want to destroy it. So don't share with them, right? So, and also, instead of realizing, there's another thing, is instead of realizing that we never felt more psychologically sick while we were in this relationship, we wondered why we were just not up to par, you know, in the relationship. We blamed ourselves. We thought that there was something wrong with us, right? Just like they said that there's something wrong with us, and we believed in them, right? So, and although normal people do accept a blame for their behavior, because sometimes we know we all make mistakes, but they never do. That's another way you can spot one, is they'll never admit to their mistake. So what to do? Get away. Forge a plan. Commit to yourself. If you can't get away, distance yourself mentally and emotionally. First of all, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. I know you can do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. I did it. You can do it too. So know this, I'm here for you. If you need personal help, like I mentioned earlier, write to me. It does have a cost associated with it, but I have to do that in order to, you know, to be able to sustain this momentum. And so I'm trying to keep it affordable. So check that out. Otherwise, I may answer your question in a future video. So for now, I thank you so much. I hope this helped you. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if there's something I forgot. Let us know, not just me, because it's becoming a community here. So share your experience. Reach out to other people. We're all in this together, and the more we connect, the more sane we'll become, the easier it's going to be for us to heal ourselves. So again, thank you. This is turning into another long video. I thought it was going to be like 10 minutes, but there it goes. There's so much to share. So I'm going to be bringing you more, and for now I am sending you a lot of sunshine from Slovenia, a lot of love straight from my heart, and stay connected. Stay connected to that deep feeling inside of you, because it's always right. It's always taking you where you're supposed to be. So keep letting your inner compass guide you, and I'll see you in another video. Ciao.